Welcome to NetBeans IDE 7.0. NetBeans IDE is an integrated development environment that lets you rapidly create desktop, web, and mobile applications. The IDE provides top-of-the-line support for Java application development, as well as great tools for developing PHP and C++ applications. The IDE is open source and free, and runs on today's standard operating systems. NetBeans IDE 7 is closely aligned with JDK 7. Right away, you can start to use the proposed JDK 7 language features in NetBeans IDE because the NetBeans Java editor has built-in syntax support for all of these features. Let's set up the IDE to use the developer preview builds of JDK 7, and then we'll look at how to change our code to use the new string and switch support. NetBeans IDE 7 provides support for the proposed language features of JDK 7. To enable support, simply add the developer preview build of JDK 7 as a platform in the Java Platforms Manager. Point to the location of your JDK 7 installation, and the IDE will recognize the JDK and add it to the list of registered platforms. No further configuration is needed. After you register JDK 7 with the IDE, you can easily choose the JDK that you want for your project. The IDE will then use the JDK for compilation, running, and debugging. After you create a Java project, you can use the project's properties window to configure the project to use any Java platform that is registered with the IDE by simply selecting the Java platform from the drop-down list. You can also use the project's properties window to set the source level for the files in your project. You can now use the proposed JDK 7 language features in your project. Now, let's demonstrate string and switch support. Starting from JDK 7, you can use arguments of type string when coding switch statements. This small sample displays RGB codes for several colors. With JDK 7, the color variable can be a string. When you run the application, the output is the RGB code for the color red. You can see that the build is successful, and the application works when the target platform and source format is JDK 7. Let's roll back to using JDK 6 and test how the application is compiled with the JDK 6 compiler. Immediately, you see that the JDK 6 parser does not recognize the syntax. Now, let's rewrite the code using the if-then-else statement instead of switch. Now run the application with the different values. To demonstrate how the IDE's Java editor recognizes and automatically fixes code to be compliant with the proposed JDK 7 language specification, let's use a dummy code snippet and replace the previous application code in the same Java source file. Note that the IDE displays several hints of how you can optimize your code for the JDK 7 specification. Also, note the improved exception handling or multi-catch statement, when one catch block can be used for several types of exceptions. The new syntax of resource closure statements is introduced, simplifying these constructs. Finally, after you accept all the suggestions, you now have JDK 7 compatible code. NetBeans IDE 7 lets you work with the latest versions of a variety of application servers. NetBeans IDE continues to offer seamlessly integrated support for the Glassfish server that allows you to quickly deploy your applications directly from the IDE. There's a dedicated tab in the Output window where you can easily view the Glassfish server log. The Services window provides an up-to-date overview of the status of the Glassfish server, where you can see a list of the deployed applications and resources. The IDE now provides improved integration with Oracle WebLogic Server. In addition to easier project configuration and deployment to WebLogic, the IDE now enables you to easily browse the list of deployed applications. The tighter integration with the server means that you can quickly see the details about registered resources and services without leaving the IDE. In short, the NetBeans IDE provides all the tools you need for deploying and managing your web resources on Glassfish and WebLogic. NetBeans IDE 7 has enhanced its support for Java desktop development. The new grid bag layout designer makes organizing and designing graphic elements in a swing form simple. Open a form in the Matisse GUI Builder, where you can use drag and drop to design the user interface. Right-click the form to customize its layout in the new grid bag layout editor. Notice how easy it is to change the layout of the components in the form. Reposition an element, and all other components realign and adjust accordingly. All changes in the layout are done very smoothly, without requiring any thought about the underlying code. Now we select a few of our components and drag them to cover multiple columns in the grid. We set the fill property to horizontal, and immediately the IDE applies the changes. While designing the form, at any time you can use the preview mode to instantly see how the form will look. There's no need to recompile your application. Next, we choose all the labels, and with a few clicks have them aligned with each other. When we preview the form again, we see that the alignment was successful. In short, working with the grid bag layout in the NetBeans IDE is a breeze. Many other significant enhancements have been introduced into NetBeans IDE 7. You can now edit HTML5 syntax, use the better and faster PHP editor, use the latest Maven and JUnit versions, install a new Git versioning plugin, and make use of new annotations for simplifying the registration of actions and windows when creating plugins for NetBeans IDE or any other NetBeans platform application. NetBeans IDE is the tool of choice, providing top-of-the-line support for Java application development, as well as great tools for developing PHP and C++ applications. To download NetBeans IDE 7, visit the netbeans.org website, where you'll also find tutorials and screencasts and ways to participate in the NetBeans community.